Booyah.
Welcome. Pace and Jamil, how are we?
Fan-friggin-tastic. How are you?
I'm excited. This is Wholesale Hotline number 38. For everybody that maybe are joining for the first time, between Jamil, Pace, and myself, we are talking over 5,000 deals of experience. We're talking three main breakdowns of the wholesale business. We talk lead generation, we talk conversion, and we talk disposition. Okay. We want to enrich your lives every single Monday with as much real instruction, with as much passion, with as much commitment, with as much purpose as we can on this show. And I'm excited because what a week it's been. I mean, it's been a wild week. There's been a lot of things going on. I'd like to get into it a little bit, but I'd like to just start and say, I read this great quote, guys, and I think it's really important. I think and the quote goes like this: surround yourself with people that remind you more of the future than of the past. Okay. And I really love that. And I kind of broke that down last night with my wife, and I go, remind me of the future. How do you remind somebody of the future? But I think if you're sharing your goals with people, right? If you're sharing the actions that you're taking, if people are seeing you being proactive, if they see you out there every single day working on your real estate goals, they're going to remind you of that. They're going to remind you of all those big things, those big dreams, those big goals that you have. And those are the people that you want to be your cheerleaders. Those are the people that you want propping you up. And I think that it's so important. And I just want everybody out there that is watching this either on YouTube or listening to this on the Wholesale Hotline podcast to know that you've got three guys here with 5,000 deals of experience that will remind you of your future. We will push you to your goals. We will support you. We will celebrate you. We will love you, because this is the most incredible business of all time, and we are ready to enrich your lives as much as possible. So with that, gentlemen, Pace, Jamil, how you feeling?
So good. Life is amazing. It couldn't be any better. I'm blessed to have you two as my closest friends. Pace's hair is really solid.
Nobody thought he had hair. He wears a hat every day.
I mean, I this is a new look. I'm a little uncomfortable at how handsome he is. I'm starting to feel like the ugly duckling of the three, because we look. You're already, Brent. Let's face it, okay? You're a Ken doll, right? Woo! And Pace, he's always been handsome, but the hats do shade a little bit of the handsomeness. They take away, and then just look at this guy. Look at that head of hair. It's full. It's the fade is on point. You guys are
you're the blue genie, bro. You're the blue genie.
You're the blue genie.
Jamil, it's good to talk to you, bro, because I hadn't talked to you. Usually you and I spend quite a bit of time together. Yes. We travel together, do all this fun stuff together, and you've been gone for about 10 days or so.
It's been hard.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is because we originally planned on doing something pretty cool when you came back.
Yes.
But you came back a week early. So Brent, I want to see, do you remember what we talked about doing when he came back, what our plan was for this next coming show?
Well, we were going to give somebody the opportunity to spend the day with us, right?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how they were going to do that?
They had to share and post and get as many people on this episode as possible. What do you call it, Pace? Like not a screening, what is that called? Huh?
A screenshot?
No. When you share, when you're watching it as a group.
They're a watch party.
Watch party.
That's right. So the largest watch party for this next coming week, largest watch party is going to get a day with us in Phoenix. So it's going to be coming into Phoenix. Yeah. They're going to have to come. They're going to have to come in on a Friday because that's TTP Fridays.
That's right.
So they're going to have to come in on a Friday. They'll stop by the Keegley office, and they'll stop by the Sub 2 office and hang out with my squad. And we'll do a big watch party contest. So guys, give us some a strong arm for Brent Daniels, or maybe a banana. Give me a banana emoji if you guys are pumped up and excited about this little contest we're going to plan on doing next week. Yes. By the way, I've never seen more people doing squatting up in the comments as I have the last month or so.
It's nuts. Like, people have taken that concept and are running with it. I got TT peers working with Astro students selling deals. I've got Astro students giving dead leads to Sub 2 students. It is beautiful. It is the coolest thing I think I've ever experienced, is to see how different people from different mentorships treat each other like family and work together to leverage the expertise and the skills that are being taught by each of us. And it's incredible. It's rewarding. It's amazing. It is cooperative, collaborative, and it comes from a foundation of love, which is, what else do you want out of life?
So interesting thing that Brent brings up earlier. Brent's quote was, hang out with people or be around people that remind you of the future or make you think of the future rather than remind you of the past. So I was playing golf today with a couple of real estate investors here local, Ricky Morgan, Devin Burr, Templeton Walker, guys that are all, crushing the game. And I said, guys, let's talk about like the most common question you get in your Instagram DMs. I just want to know, like, what are we all getting the same, stuff sent over to us? The number one question that I get, I'm sure you guys get this question all the time, is how do I get started? Mm-hmm. How do I get started? How do I get started? How do I get started? Where do I start? What do I do? It's always like, how do I get started? Okay. Interesting answer. I know the answer. It doesn't matter. Originally, my answer to that question was, well, tell me your budget. Tell me, what part of the country you're in. Do you have snow boots in the wintertime? Are you into bananas? Whatever. You would try and cater this answer to people right out of the get-go because I really wanted to give them the right answer. But I now know the answer is the same for everybody, where to get started. And the place to get started, no matter who you are, what situation you're in, is join a community. Okay. It's join a community. I don't care who you are, what part of the country you're in, whether you want to fix and flip, do real estate, buy and holds, whether you want to wholesale, whatever, creative finance, you have to join a community. And that could be of one person. It could be 5 people, or it could be like Wholesale Hotline, which, we're almost to 200 live viewers right now, and we'll probably get to close to 300 tonight. Guys, you need to join a community is step one, and you need to bring value to those people in your community. And here's the thing. What Brent is talking about is you need to be around people that get you excited about the future and not remind you of the past.
Yep.
A lot of times that requires new people, right? New people in a new environment. And that is what we're trying to create here is in Wholesale Hotline, is a community that you guys can thrive in and you guys can squad up in. I mean, watching the comments freaking is so exciting for us. It means that our vision of why we set out to do this, it was originally Jamil's idea, and we bought in, Brent and I immediately bought into this, was building a community in wholesale like nobody had ever done before.
Yep.
And I love watching the comments, guys. It's so fun. So please keep squatting up. Please bring value to each other. Keep talking about where you guys are from, what part of the business you're trying to specialize, what challenges you're having, because there's people in here that are like, oh, I solved that 2 months ago. I can help you out. Or, hey, come over to my office, right? Guys, talk about where you're from and what challenges you're currently having in your business, and people will jump in to help you out.
Yeah. And I think it's important, just to kind of open that up a little bit, Pace, and join these communities and go there with the intention of providing value. Because I think a lot of people, some of the roadblocks, and I felt this starting out when I was like 22, right? I was like, well, I don't know, like, am I just supposed to ask them for help? Am I supposed to just go into their lives and hope that they like my personality or whatever else? And really, let me give you some advice. If you have these thoughts running through your head that maybe you don't want to approach people, or you don't want to be the, slide into the DMs and be like, hey, can I pick your brain? Can I get some coffee with you? Can we have a lunch? Can I take you to lunch? That type of thing. If you go in with this, you win. And here it is. Every single day, I am calling on ugly houses to find really good opportunities. I don't know how to value them. I don't know how to sell them. I don't know if they're a deal or not. But when I come across something like that, can I reach out to you? Can we meet? Can we collaborate on this? Can we work together? Can I bring, some opportunities to you? Not all of them are going to be good, but I promise that I'm going to be so proactive and I'm going to really, get better and better at this, that I'll understand whether or not this is a deal that I bring to you. I don't want to waste your time, but I do want to bring some opportunities to you. What do you think you would say, Jamil, if somebody said that? What would you say, Pace?
I'm available any day, every day. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's a lot different than, hey, can I pick your brain?
Yeah, because when somebody sends me a message and says, hey, can I pick your brain? All I can think of is my brain actually split open and they are picking at it. And it's not comfortable, right? That's the visual that I get. It's like, there's nothing in there that sounds appealing to me. Can I pick at your brain? No, I really, you know what? That's not fun, but do you want to get together and talk about real estate? Do you want to get together and talk about how to identify opportunity? I loved whoever we put up that word community, and I loved that they capitalized unity in that.
Oh, damn. I didn't even realize that until you said that. How stupid am I? I did see that pop up in the comments though. That was so good.
Look at what's amazing about that word, right? It's common unity. Yeah, that's what it is. It's common unity, right? It's what unifies us as a group. And if you can figure out what is similar between me and you, or what's similar between you and Pace, or what's similar between you and Brent, and focus on that common unity, then we are in community. And that is what makes all of this mesh and jive. And how symbolic, how amazing, how serendipitous and timely that we are on the same wavelength as the individual who wrote that is, because that's what we're talking about here, guys. Let's ride that wave of unity. It was the one thing. What's so funny is that word unity has been threading itself into my life, because as you guys know, I was on holiday with my family. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I felt so blessed about, brought me to tears multiple times, was just how unified we are. How much unity exists between my sister and I, my mom and I, and my family, and all of the nieces and our spouses. And just how much love and unity there is, and how gracious and grateful I am that God has given me a life with such amazing people that I can maintain a unified relationship, and we can watch our mom and dad get old, and everyone is just like, it's like when I see you and your family, Brent, it reminds me of how I am with mine. When I see you and your family, Pace, it reminds me of the same thing. It's that common unity, and it's such a special thing to have. And within this little niche of real estate that we call wholesale, it's because we are all crazy, right? Brent, you said it. Like, we are all crazy people doing this crazy thing. Yep. And we all experience the same limitations, the same negative thoughts, the same lacks of energy, the same disappointment and just toughness to get through the day and be successful. But when we are unified and we all work with each other and bring value to each other, we transcend that. And I think it's beautiful. And I love you all for it. And I love everybody watching this show, because you guys are the reason that this community exists. So thank you.
Amazing. So Brent, you made a comment about, if you reach out to somebody in the DM saying, hey, I'll bring value to you, how do you expect those people to reply? So quick story. You guys know this story, and a lot of people that have followed my business partner, Cody, and I know this. Number one, how did I really get into this game? As I reached out to Jamil. Okay. That's number one. Number two is it's now my obligation when people reach out to me to reply and help out and do everything I can. I get a lot of people who are like, yo, I became a sub-2 student, but the main reason I became a sub-2 student is a year ago, you helped me when I wasn't a student.
Yep.
And like, I just see the way that you help and you are, you guys are changing the game. You guys are reinventing the wheel. So here's my actual story. Steve Trang show 2 years ago. I go on the show, 200 plus text messages come out because I actually put my phone number on the show, which was stupid. I still get a text message almost every day. Hey, is this Pace? Literally, I'm gonna pull this text up so you can see this. I get a lot of these text messages every single day. Is this Pace? That's what I get right here.
Love it.
Is this Pace?
Yeah.
Can you see it? Okay, I get that. That came in at 1:28 p.m. today. Okay, I probably had 3 of those before noon. So I get a lot of those text messages, and here's what happened right after that show. I had 200 plus of those because it was a fresh show. My business partner, Cody, also came from that show. He sent me a text message almost exactly the way Brent just described that conversation. Hey, he says, I'm newer to the game. I've done a few deals, but I'm not the greatest closer. If I bring you all of my leads and let you make all the money, I just want to learn from you. And of course, you guys know me. It's not about the money. It's the same thing about you guys. It's just about helping people and exercising our superpower that the universe gave us every single day. And so I sat down with Cody at freaking McDonald's. Okay. That's the magic of this is I sat down in a McDonald's at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday. And I said, show me your leads. Very politely. I said, hey, show me your leads, whatever you got, I'll help you out. I said, show me these leads. So he shows me 10 warm leads. And within less than a week, I had closed 4 of those deals. And Cody ended up going from barely being able to pay his rent to driving a Maserati 5 months later. Right. And so now Cody and I run 8 different verticals together, right? Title company, cold call company, wholesale fix and flip, rental business, all that kind of stuff. That happened with Cody and I, that happened in about 20 months. So what I want to let everybody know is that when you lead with value and you guys are going into these relationships and building relationships inside of our community, go with value. Here's what I'm good at. And this is what I'm seeking. I have a piece of bread and I need fish. So let's do an exchange and let's bring value to each other, whatever that topic may be.
Yep.
So go with value, guys, and bring leads to people who can close. And people who can close, go work leads for people that are having a hard time. Value is all it comes down to. And you'd be amazed at how much money you can make in this business when that is the exact spirit you have in your heart. Yep.
That's it. Look, can we just pause real quick for Melanie T here? Hold on a second. We got our first bell ring of the night, gentlemen.
Wow. Number 14 in the house. Amazing.
Incredible. Crushing it.
14 guys. 14 since April.
And she just started right. Look, can we unpack that for a second? She started in April. We're talking the height of COVID. The height of COVID. She begins her wholesale career when most people were worried, they were going broke, they were becoming homeless, they were losing their jobs. She starts wholesaling in April of this year through the height of COVID, which I don't know if we're into a second height now or what. Whatever. And she lets no fear hold her back. And she continues to implement strategy. She's listening to us. She's probably learning from YouTube and elsewhere. And look at this, 14 deals. Jeez, Melanie.
Hold on a second. Melanie, fantastic. We've got, how about this? Oh, amazing. Come on. I don't know.
Ring the bell.
You get a little.
17 years old.
17 years old. Now get that sold. Listen, a property under contract only means that you have the opportunity to make income. Okay. Now go and find that buyer and get it sold. If you are in any of the markets that Keegley is in, make sure you reach out to the appropriate person if you need some help selling that Facebook user.
I have a question for the audience.
Yes.
Jamil, this is Jamil in my first year on YouTube. We're not seasoned vets like Brent Daniels. Brent Daniels is, in my opinion, one of the all-time greats in the wholesale game for, and not just wholesale, real estate in general. Mm-hmm. Brent Daniels' YouTube channel is unfreaking believable. Yep. I repeatedly walk in on my sales teams, like our office, and they're having lunch watching Brent Daniels' YouTube channel. So I have a question. Jamil, I made a challenge on my own board. I have a list of goals. I go through it every Sunday. And one of my goals in terms of giving back to people who have helped me was, I know Jamil wanted to really push hard on his YouTube channel this year. And so he's done a really good job.
I've been doing a piss poor job. Let's be real, Pace.
I've been traveling around. So this is my question I want to ask. Knowing what Jamil's superpower is with comping and understanding value of properties, what would you guys want to see out of Jamil? Let's find out the next 3 topics you would want to see from Jamil's YouTube channel.
Can we do that for all of us?
Yeah, I'd love that. Yes. So guys, what would you guys want to see from Jamil? Topics that I see personally through the comments that I think Jamil could crush the most are, how do I comp multifamily? How do I comp dirt or land? And how do I comp mobile homes? I see those questions repeatedly over and over and over again. You guys throw out some ideas. I want to know, because this week on Wednesday, I'm going to Jamil's house and I'm going to help him make sure that we record 3 YouTube videos just on Wednesday and help him out by not just forget about helping Jamil. This is about helping the community, because Jamil has all this knowledge in his brain that we got to extract out and put on YouTube so thousands and thousands of people can watch. So let's, guys, give us some comments. What would you guys want to see? And then what we're going to do is we're also going to ask, what would you want to see on Brent's? Okay. I personally think Brent should do a pre-foreclosure mastery volume 2.
Oh, with Pace Morby. Are you up? I'm ready.
I feel like that was one of the best videos you did this year.
Yep.
And obviously I'm biased. It's a video I push out all the time.
You're not biased. You're just speaking facts because it's got the most views.
It's so good. And I could repeatedly, when people ask me about pre-foreclosures, I go, just go watch Brent Daniels' this video. It's so good. I think doing a version 2.0, especially going into 2021, knowing that we are going to have a wave of foreclosures come into like March, April, May. I'm not saying the market's crashing. I'm just saying we're going to have a lot more foreclosures pop up. I think that would be Claudio, pre-foreclosure mastery 2 is a must. So guys, give me some Jamil topics, because I'm writing these down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a shout out on these YouTube videos. I'm going to make Jamil shout out your name on the YouTube video and say, hey, thank you to, let's say Claudio comes up with the idea. Thank you, Claudio, for the idea. We got this from Wholesale Hotline. Today's topic of the show is What do you guys think? Okay, so let's go through these. Trevor says, what's the best way to get leads? I think that's definitely a Brent Daniels topic.
Got it.
Okay. Brent Daniels topic. Trevor Meacham, I would say that is. I think that would be cool if you shouted out the people who chose the topic. Don't you think, Brent?
Love it.
So Trevor Meacham. Love that. Troy, by the way, Troy, are you watching? Troy is one of my video editors, and he did the intro. If anybody actually saw the intro to Wholesale Hotline, Troy did that. So shout out Troy. But Troy,
great job, Troy.
If you're watching this, Troy, please take a screenshot of the question for Trevor Meacham for Brent Daniels' YouTube channel. But let's go through. Okay. You guys see any topics that you'd Brent or Jamil?
I like it all. I like people are interested in understanding commercial. People are interested in understanding multifamily. People are probably interested in understanding land. If you're not, you should be. All of those things. I think that I really like that you picked that one from Max about how to keep these relationships. You know, Jamil sold some properties where he's made, 50, 60, 80, $100,000. And these people love him for giving him the opportunity to pay him 50, 60, 70, 80, $100,000. So I think that there's a lot of wisdom there to be shared for sure. And I might just steal Jamil for one of my videos.
So Devonta Johnson said, Devonta Johnson, what I want to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of Devonta Johnson's question on Wholesale Hotline, because what I'll do is I'll have Troy overlay your question on Jamil's YouTube.
Awesome.
Jamil, are you okay to do mobile homes?
Heck yeah, bro.
Okay, so there's one topic for Jamil.
Family. I like mindset and keeping relationships.
Okay, why don't we do this one right here? Max Jimenez, our brother. We love you, Max. You're the man.
Best guy.
So Max Jimenez, we're going to do this topic for Jamil. Jamil, you cool with that?
Yes, sir. Cool.
And then let's see here. Comping a variety of properties. I would suggest you guys go watch Jamil comp live on Ty. What day do you guys do that, Jamil?
Thursday afternoons at 3 p.m. PST. We do a comp show. Top dollar buyers. I have done a video on that, so Cameron, you can check out my YouTube channel for that. A comp show we've been talking about. That's a great idea.
Okay, so why don't we do mobile home? Let's see, what do we got coming down here? What's Jamil's YouTube page? So guys, go to YouTube and type in Jamil Damji, and you can see his name right there, Jamil Damji, and you will find his channel. It's very simple. I also was just thinking this. Check this out. This one's for Brent right here.
Woo! Oh yeah, with Jerry. Yeah, I had a video with Jerry today.
Can you talk about down payment arbitrage? I can talk about that. I can do a video on my YouTube channel all about that. Okay, here we go. I want a real non-BS look at the risk exposure to creative financing for subject to seller financing and lead options. So Aaron, I spend a lot of time, probably 20 hours a week with my sub-2 students. I will give you a little bit of a taste, but if you don't want to wait for a video, I would squat up with one of my students. They'll give you all the non-BS fun stuff that is behind the curtains. I like this one for Jamil. Jamil, do you deal with this that much with Keegley?
All the time.
Okay, so Matt Barry, I'm going to have this as one of Jamil's topics for his YouTube channel coming up, and we're going to shout you out, guys. Thank you for the topics. I think this will be really good to shout out our community, speaking of community, and making sure that some of this content is in a longer form, and maybe even let Jamil use a whiteboard in some of these scenarios.
I like this one a lot.
Oh, crap. I just went off of what you were clicking on.
I think a mindset video should, there was somebody who said mindset for consistency. And I think honestly, that could be really good, because mindset for consistency is having consistent work on your mindset. Right. It's and I don't want to talk like Yoda here, but we can really dive into what that looks like. And, remember, Pace, when we were on the phone today, I was telling you about the reason why YouTube videos haven't become a part of my life is because they haven't made my list of non-negotiables yet. Right.
Yeah.
I'm like a structured animal. The things that are non-negotiables in my life get done. Everything else is up for grabs. Even food. Food hasn't become a non-negotiable in my life, right? I eat when I start to get blurry-eyed, whatever it is. That's when even that hasn't found a way into my world. But we'll talk about that. I think that's something we can absolutely get into on a video. Great. Thanks for that.
One of my favorite topics with Brent. Okay, this comes up quite often. Okay, it's the question of, I just got a check. Yep. I just got my first check.
Yep.
What do I do with that check? How do I spend it all in marketing? Do I go hire 18 people? What do I do? What are my next steps? And Brent, he has answered that question maybe a dozen times over the last 30 plus episodes on Wholesale Hotline, but I don't know. Brent, have you done a longer form 10-minute YouTube video specifically on that yet?
I've done some on what to do with the money that you make. Sure. Where you need to, certain things, we forget about certain things, right? We forget about taxes. We forget about replacing our income. We forget about, the responsibilities of leadership, the responsibilities of having a vision and a plan and goals that you can share with people so that they can come and jump on board, and so that you're not micromanaging them all the time, but you're letting them do what they do best, which is go out there and help you achieve those goals and the goals that you guys have as a company. So, there's a lot to it. There really is. But I think, if you close the first deal, keep it. Keep the money, keep the money, keep the money. There's too many. There is the long-term plan of this business is to replace your current income, do this full time, build a business that gives you enough income so that you can pay off your debts and buy assets so that you can have passive cash flow, so that you can have even more than that. Because passive cash flow, that's a bell ringing term. Everybody says passive cash flow. It's freedom of schedule. It's the freedom of schedule, right? We only have a certain amount of time on this planet. What do you want to be spent doing? You know what I mean? And listen, we have a lot of time. There's 168 hours in a week. We've got a lot of time. There's a lot of downtime that we all have. We can fit this business into our schedule to when it starts taking over our current income, and then we can really commit to it to the point where we can own this business and be able to really, just you're a part of it. You're the leader of it, but you're not working in it every single day if you choose to do that. And that's the goal. That's the goal. The goal is freedom of schedule. The goal is to surround yourself with amazing people that see the vision. They don't want to be you. They want to work with you. They want to work in this role that they feel they're talented at, and that you reward them for, and that you recognize them for. And so just when you get your first checks, great, keep it. Keep it and build. Keep it and build. Keep it and build. Keep it and build. And I always push people to be more proactive in their business than reactive. Because if you're always reactive, then you have to spend money to get people to call you. That's the facts. It's very simple. It's black and white. You pay, they call you. Okay? Now, if you're proactive, you trade your skills, your ability, your talent, and your time and efforts for those opportunities. So if you're being proactive, and you're keeping more money, you have less debt, more assets, and more time for the things that you want to do in your life. It's perfect. There it is.
Love it. So a couple things. Speaking of YouTube, going forward, I am no longer going to stream anything in my Facebook groups. I am only going to stream on YouTube. And I also believe, personally, I believe that I am no longer going to stream to my personal YouTube for Wholesale Hotline. So I want to be very clear. By the end of this year, everybody needs to transition to Brent Daniels' YouTube for when we stream. I want to have, whenever I go live on any of my podcasts that I participate in, I want to push it to one place. And the reason for this is because we can see all your comments. Okay, we have over 300 people watching right now. And when you're in Facebook and you're in one of our YouTube channels, you can't see everybody. You can't see all the comments. You can't see all the viewers. And so you're limited on who you connect with. And so when we're trying to build a community, we really want everybody in one place. Now, my YouTube channel has plenty of live streaming. Okay. I'm the live stream king. I got Sunday service. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I don't need Wholesale Hotline. I want Wholesale Hotline to go to Brent Daniels, and I'm going to start pushing everybody to go to his YouTube channel on Monday afternoons, so that we can all be in one place. Is everybody on the same page there? So currently, I've got a few of my Facebook groups that I'm pushing to, like Creative Finance. Guys, we're going to announce the link, and we're going to give you the link in the Facebook group, but it's going to go live on YouTube. Also, Facebook does this weird thing where it changes your name to Facebook user, and we love knowing who we're talking to. So we're going to change that up, make it so it's very simple, all going to Brent Daniels' YouTube channel going forward. Everybody on the same page. Give us a peace emoji, give us a sub 2, give us a strong arm for TTP, or give us a rocket ship for Astro. So there was a question there that I really liked, and I want to know what your guys' answer is.
Real quick.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Because D here, thanks to Jamil, get his first deal.
Yeah. Congrats, D.
So the question that I saw up here that I really, really liked was, what was your first hire, Pace, Jamil, and Brent?
Mm-hmm.
What was your first hire? Now, I had hundreds and hundreds of employees in previous businesses before I got into wholesale, creative finance, etc. But Brent, let's start with you, bro.
Lisa OK, who is still my virtual assistant. Yeah, I found her on Upwork.com. I had followed the instructions that Tom Kroll gave to me in 2016. And she took over everything. She took over my email. She took over organizing all my lists. She took over putting all my list into my dialer. She put in every lead that I get. It goes to her. She cleans it up and puts it into our CRM very quickly. So those are some of the things that she did. She took a lot off the plate when it came to the organization and the things that I really wasn't good at, but she was really good at organizing and keeping clean and making sure that everything was running smoothly and we had fresh lists to call. I was still responsible for pulling the list, getting the phone numbers, and then I would send it to her for organization.
Love that. So that jumps into what Gerard says. And I'm going to jump on that. But Gerard here says, if I can afford to invest in a VA, should I? I mean, it sounds like Brent Daniels, who's one of the most successful wholesalers I've ever met in my life, that was his first hire. So I think the answer is yes, Gerardo. Jamil, what was your first hire when? Because I know your jumping into the game was a different transition than Brent Daniels, because you were doing astro flipping before you actually coined it astro flipping. So what was your first hire as you guys scaled to the behemoths you are today?
So the first real hire we had was Kevin Oswald, and Kevin Oswald is now the VP, or is now the president of franchising.
I love Kevin,
and he's the best. And the funny thing is what Kevin did was he sat me down and said, "I need to get out of you what you do all day." He's like, and I don't mean that in a weird way. He's like, just tell me everything you do from the moment you wake up and give me a full rundown of your day, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to systematize it. Because my business, as you guys remember, if any of you are familiar with my origin story and getting in the business, I'm referral based. I don't have marketing spend, right? Keegley doesn't spend any money on marketing. Our marketing budget is very close to $0. The majority of our deals come from agent relationships or other wholesalers, and we focus on selling those deals on actually dispositions. And Robin, I can give you an absolute quick and dirty of it. Astro flipping is leveraging already existing opportunities, so other wholesalers' contracts or agent relationships for direct to seller opportunities, and pairing those with buyers. So we show you guys how to build robust, really strong buyers lists, and then how to go out and create relationships with people so that you can already take contracted deals and pair them with buyers for the lowest hanging fruit. If I want to jump into a market, like say if I need to get paid in 2 weeks, it's really difficult to start a cold calling campaign and get a check in 2 weeks, because it takes at least 90 days to get a deal. Right? Wouldn't you say it's about 90 days from the day you start calling to the day you get your first check? With astro flipping, which is what we call a micro flip, where we take another wholesaler or an opportunity, a deal from an agent, and we have ready and waiting buyers who want to take those opportunities, and we just pair them with buyers. So we curate the marketplace, and we help wholesalers actually complete on the deals that they're contracting. And that's the benefit, and that's what we do as Astro Flippers. So Robin, we're there to be of resource to all of you guys that are cold calling and doing a bunch for lead generation. We're there to help you sell your deal.
Love that. Love that.
The biggest challenges that people that are starting out in the business have. It's not, in my opinion, it's not going out and talking to that ugly property owner's house, the ugly property owner, right? It's not talking to the distressed property owner, the motivated seller. It's selling the deal. It's getting it past the finish line. How many people finally get a deal done? They said, I had to cancel on 3 or 4 deals before, right? It's usually because you can't find the right buyer, or somebody's not checking over your work and making sure that it's an actual deal, right? That's one of the toughest things ever. The first 2 years, and you guys know this, I sold to like 3 different buyers, right? I just did, because I was nervous about it. I didn't want to, rock the boat with really good relationships. I wasn't out there. I wanted to go hunting. I wanted to hunt for deals. I didn't want to, harvest them. You know what I mean? I didn't want to just, I just want to give it to trusted buyers. And I'm telling you, Jamil comes in with thousands of buyers because he goes out there and he talks to everybody and then builds a team to do what he did. And all day long, guys, I'm telling you, he has a beehive in his office of people finding cash buyers in all the markets they're in.
Correct.
Jamil, this is a good topic. I want to hear all about this. And I saw somebody posting about this in Atlanta recently. I'm super curious to hear about your thing. So let everybody know, because obviously you've got Robin Hurt, who's been in here for a while. We love Robin Hurt, amazing supporter of the show. But she's been in the show for quite a while, and she still had a question about what is astro flipping. So why don't we give a little bit of backstory of like what co-wholesaling is, and then jump into Adam's question here.
Yeah. So, Adam, great thought there. Adam's question is, I think co-wholesaling will be dead soon because the marketplace seems to be getting some regulation, right? They want people to get licenses. And so first off, Adam, I think what you're describing is unauthorized marketing of other people's deals. And when you are doing that, when you are marketing a deal and you don't have equitable interest in that deal, you are potentially brokering, right? And the other part of that is that you're acting as a realtor, or you're giving people or showing people opportunities that you don't have the right to do. And so, Adam, there are instruments and there are ways to solidify your equitable interest in the deal when you're co-wholesaling. And that is through what we call an option. If you want to learn more about an option, we can talk about it at a later time. But an option essentially gives you equitable interest on a property so that you can market that equitable interest. And that is the instrument you use when you are co-wholesaling. That is the correct instrument to use when you're co-wholesaling and basically cooperating with another wholesaler to bring a buyer. And for those people that are talking about licensing, I'm going to say this, and it's not a popular sentiment, but I'm going to tell you this anyways. Go get a damn license. Stop being lazy, right? If you're going to call yourself a wholesaler or a real estate professional, go get a license. It's $900 and maybe 2 months out of your life to go get licensed, or go get somebody on your team licensed. Go get a license. Figure it out. It's not okay. It's not acceptable to be a barber and not have a license. It's not acceptable to be a cosmetician and not get a license. And I think that if you're going to be trading in hundreds of thousands of dollars in property and you're going to call yourself a career real estate professional, then you or someone on your team should hold a license. That's just my opinion.
Listen, Jamil, where I get my haircut, the apprentices, the gals and guys that want to cut hair at this place have to spend 2 years washing heads, mixing colors, and sweeping up hair. 2 years to get the opportunity to make maybe $70,000 a year, right? Yep. 2 years. Plus, by the way, they do have to get licensed, right? They do have to go through all that schooling. They do have to do all those things. 2 years. I'm just saying, if it comes down to it, and I love that Adam brought that up, if it comes down to it, then get a license. Honestly, it's one of those things that the barrier to entry, that's the interesting thing that I see coming from both sides, right? I came from a traditional real estate background where I was a realtor forever, right? 10 years. And doing some deals here and there. But really, I saw that side. And then coming from the investment side, the realtors are out there and they're serious about it because they've invested in themselves. They went to school, they got a license, they had to take testing, they went through all these things. And I love that the barrier to entry to be a real estate investor is low. But listen, Will it always be? Maybe not. If it's not, great. Be the one that jumps over the barrier and keep doing what you do. You know what I mean? Like, you got to play by the rules. If there are rules in place, don't be that dude that's like, or, going under the table with all these deals and being sneaky and doing all this. You will get found out. You will get caught. Do everything above board. Make sure everything goes through the title and escrow that you and the closing attorney that you like and trust. And keep going with the business. You can't build a business if you're doing something shady. You just can't.
Interesting topic. I do enjoy this one. The guys that I played golf with this morning, one of them made $178,000 last month in wholesale assignment fees. Okay.
Awesome.
And I'm sitting here thinking, we're here golfing on a Monday, right? And we're all hanging out, fist bumping each other like, man, how good is life right now? How great is it that we found this industry? How lucky are we that we found this little niche like Brent talks about? This is a small niche of people. Compare yourself with the ability to make $2-3 million a year. Compare that to a doctor who takes 16 years to specialize in surgery to make $500,000 a year. 16 years, colleges, exams, applying from one school to another school, leveraging student loan debt, living in your parents' basement, sacrifice, just to make 1/5 of what we can make in this business.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to ask yourself, are you committed to this business? Yep. Are you serious about this business? If you are, then you don't have the... Really?
That goes all the way back to the beginning of this show. I'm telling you, when you're going through when you're trying to squat up, or you're thinking about squatting up and networking and being around successful people in your market, I think a lot of the times you want them to convince you to do this business. You haven't made the decision to do this business. You haven't made the decision to commit to it. You haven't made the decision to find an ugly house and find a way to have a conversation with that homeowner, either by knocking on their door, picking up the phone, texting, whatever it is. We got to start with that conversation, but you don't need to be convinced by somebody else to be in this business, right? And if you're looking for reasons to not do this business, or you're looking for, I get it. Maybe it's not the right one. But I'm telling you, if you commit to it, if you make the decision, if you're to that point where you do want to squat up with people doing more than you, then that in your state, if they require a license to do this business, you go and get that. To answer the question by Eric, not all states require you to have a license, right? But I'm telling you, a couple dominoes fall in that licensing game, the rest are going to be coming down. I'm telling you, it could be 5 years. I don't know. I
feel like personally, let's talk about the cost to keep a license. Okay. If I go get a license, let's talk about that. Okay. Does becoming a realtor limit you in any way? That is a great freaking question. Obviously, look at Jamil's face. Look at this handsome guy. Jamil's saying, no, it does not limit you. Here's what I think it does. And I want to talk about something real quick, and I'll come back to this, but I think being a realtor does limit you when you are a realtor first going into wholesale. The only limitation being a realtor gives for you is mental chains, balls and chains on, oh my gosh, my broker this, my broker that. And then it's really hard for you to be successful in this business because your freaking paradigm and your mind shift or situation is poisoned by where you came from. You guys agree with that?
Yep.
Absolutely. Which is why I had a conversation with Steve already about this, so I can make it live now. Why Keegley is going to become a national real estate brokerage as well. We are franchising the Keegley brokerage. We will be a brokerage in Phoenix within the next week. We will be a licensed brokerage in Phoenix, and all of our agents will be, all of our reps will be licensed at Keegley, and we'll be franchising that brokerage across the country so that people can actually have a wholesale friendly brokerage to hang their license in, and they can learn all the rules across the nation on how to do this business legally, above board, with the proper disclosures, like actual business people, professionals in this business. They can be proud of it.
What do you guys think about this drink my wife got me? Because she's like, you're going on Wholesale Hotline. I got to get you a pink peace sign tea. What
I
a
think
good wife, dude. How good is my wife?
Also, gotta just say, she looked pretty snazzy in your last TikToks.
How'd you like that? I was like, hey, do hashtag hot wife, hashtag booty, hashtag cleavage. She's like, no. I was trying to get her to laugh. But dude, that was like super watched video. People love that wife of mine for sure.
Yep.
Great.
I'm excited about the brokerage, bro. I'm really excited about that. What was the tipping point there? What was the deciding factor there?
It was exactly that. It was the fact that people were they were hanging their license with retail brokerages who didn't understand wholesale, and then trying to bring that transaction to their broker and say, how do I do this? And the broker's brain breaks and they're like, you can't. Well, that's not true, right? And so we've seen Steve act as an amazing real estate broker at Stunning Homes for the last 5 years.
Steve Trang, he's referring to.
Steve Trang from Real Estate Disruptors, for those of you who all know him. We've been watching him do that. And really, only if you were in the boys club in Phoenix did you know that you could go hang your license at Stunning Homes and actually be a wholesaler and learn how to do real estate the wholesale way. And what we saw is there, like we did at Keegley, when we started Keegley, we realized there was a gap in the marketplace. The gap existed as nobody knows how to sell these contracts they're getting. So why don't we figure that out? And why don't we fill that niche? And so that's the hole we filled then. And now we've realized the next gap is that we are moving towards licensing. We are moving towards regulation. And more realtors need to understand how to work in this investment space. And so why not create a national brokerage where licensed realtors can come and actually do investment style transactions without having to deal with all the garbage that goes along with the retail brokerage?
Love it.
I saw this question. It's a really good question. And honestly, I'm going to screenshot this one. This one might be a good one for Brent Daniels' YouTube for the future.
Yeah. Does an inspection period run through the weekend or only weekdays? Unless it is written specifically that it is only work days, yes, it goes through the weekend.
Sure does.
Yes, it is calendar days, not business days. So one little hack when you're doing an inspection period and you need a longer inspection period and you don't want to spook the seller that you need a long inspection period, make sure your purchase agreement states business days, not calendar days on your inspection period. You'll get an extra 2 to 4 days on your inspection period for doing that. Yeah, I'm excited about the brokerage deal. You've got a lot of people saying they want to hang their license with you.
Can you guys all do me a favor? I'd love for everybody who's interested in getting a license that would hang their license at a Keegley brokerage. Can you send me a DM on Instagram, please, so that I can send that information to our team and we'll reach out to you and let you know when that it's available in your area? That would be fantastic. Let's
talk about this. Do you guys see this changing in the next few years?
I see it becoming a part of the zeitgeist of real estate. Let me tell you why. And when I say zeitgeist, I'm sorry, that's an inside baseball term. Zeitgeist becomes a part of the common denominator, becomes a part of the language of the times. And so when you're talking about wholesale, I believe it becomes a part of the language of the times with real estate. It moves from being this underground sort of like weird thing that people do with contracts to something that is absolutely always understood and known and done and more readily accepted. Let me tell you the examples that I used to formulate that thought process. I was in a deal with D.R. Horton, which is a publicly traded company, America's home builder. Okay? Guess what D.R. Horton did with a portion of my deal? Wholesaled it.
Mm-hmm.
A public company wholesaled a with me in it. So that goes to show how legitimate this transaction style is, right? The other thing I see is that real estate agents are understanding that if they represent buyers in transactions rather than sellers, especially in a housing crisis where there is fewer and fewer homes available to the general public because Wall Street owns more and more of Main Street. That is a truth. That is a reality. Wall Street owns more and more and more of Main Street. And because of Wall Street owning more of Main Street, less of Main Street is available to us.
Explain that, Jamil.
Hedge funds have been buying the United States real estate market since 2010, and they continue to do so at a voracious level. Okay, you cannot begin to understand the number of homes that hedge funds are buying on a day-to-day basis across the country. Why? Because hedge funds understand that we are headed for an inflationary event in the United States, and one of the key resources or assets that protects against inflation is housing. And that our inflationary event is going to increase the value of a home way more than any investment a hedge fund could have put their money into. And because they spend billions of dollars getting smart people to think of this stuff, they have placed their bets on the United States housing market. And we've seen that time and time and time again. Here's the reason why we won't see a depression in pricing that we saw in 2010 or 2008. The reason why we won't see a depression in housing is because the majority of assets that are owned of the U.S. housing market is Wall Street, and they're billionaires. They're never going to let their house go to foreclosure because their house is worth 20 grand less today than it was yesterday. That's not going to happen anymore, guys. We are heading towards a housing crisis. No president is going to be able to stop that from happening. I promise you. And so what we are going to see is that it's going to get more and more difficult to earn a commission as a real estate agent. And real estate agents are going to have to start earning more per transaction than they have been in the past. Let me explain to you a deal that I just did with one of my really good friends, Monique Walker, a real estate agent. She represented me as a buyer on a deal. She was talking to a seller who had a potential listing for her. She said to that seller, "You know what? I'm not going to represent you. You want X number of dollars for this house, and I have a cash buyer willing to give that to you. But I'm going to represent my buyer. So I'm going to allow you to get a net number. You won't have to pay me a dime in commission. But you have to understand that I'm going to represent this buyer and not you." So she sent a disclosure as part of the contract that said, "I'm representing the buyer only. The buyer will be paying me my commission." Guess what what happened in that transaction? I buy that deal for $125,000 and I wholesale it for $225,000. I make $100,000 assignment fee, and I split my assignment fee 50-50 with Monique. She made a $50,000 commission on a $125,000 sale.
I was driving you from San Antonio to Houston when you did that.
Yep.
Just sitting in the car. And I'm sitting here like, hey, don't I get like 10% of this for being the chauffeur while this transaction's going on?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
So she made $50,000
on one deal. And you tell me where a real estate agent can make 50 grand off a $125,000 house. Her commission at most should have been 6% on that, which would have been around 7 grand.
Yep.
Right? Instead, she makes 50.
Yeah.
Totally.
Let me explain something. In 2012, the conversation was 2012, guys. Conversation was there's too many wholesalers. The market's going to crash. We're not going to be able to wholesale for forever. Those are the three biggest comments. Guess what I heard in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2020, the same. It's like a record. It just repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. Oh, the economy is going to do this. Oh, the new president's going to do this. Oh, the housing market's going to do this. Oh, wholesaling's going to. What is going to happen in the next few years? The next few years, Mubin, because you're one of my TTV family members, is over the next few years, you're going to source so many opportunities. You're going to build a team. You're going to have this streamlined. You're going to be making so much that you are now investing in properties that you're finding. You're going to cherry pick one out of every 5 or 10 deals that you run across and build up your rental portfolio. That's what you need to worry about, because we cannot control what we can't control. Okay? So every single day we got to wake up and ask the question, who can I work with today? Who's going to sign a contract today? That's how we get through this fear and anxiety and all these things. First, we're grateful that we found this opportunity. We found wholesaling. Second, we take action to be able to do as much as possible and go out into our community and help as many people as possible so that we can be successful, so that we can help people out of their problems. There are always going to be people that have problems. There are more problems out there than there are people solving those problems. It is a conveyor belt of opportunity. Do not fall into, do not be lulled in, do not be, have somebody with that doesn't have the optimistic outlook be in your life. Find people that know if they go out there every single day and try to provide value to their community and their marketplace, you win. You win for as long as you want to. You could do this till you're 97 years old. I mean, this business is incredible. Too much competition. Market's going to crash. Wholesaling is going to end. It's the same conversation since 2012. It's all bullshit. Go out and take action.
I love you, Brent.
Yeah, I love that. When I first jumped into wholesale, I was convinced. I was convinced that there's no way that these deals are going to continue at this rate. Right? So 2014, 2015, 2016, I'm sitting here watching people wholesaling. I'm like, there's no way there's this many deals. Like, these wholesalers are going to get rid of all the distressed sellers. All the distressed sellers' problems are going to be solved, and I'm not going to have any opportunities. Interesting thought process. And then when you get into this business, you realize there's bad decision makers born every single day, and they need us to come in and help them, save them from themselves. That is what we ultimately do. But Brent, I freaking love that. So really, really good. Anthony Golden, a Liz Pendens specifically means a pending lawsuit. So Liz means lawsuit. Pendens mean it's pending. It means somebody has filed a document against your property saying, I am going to sue you with a full-fledged lawsuit in 100 days or less. So that typically is a level above, not typically, it is a level above a memorandum. Okay. It means I intend to file a lawsuit. It is a document showing your intent. Liz Pendens, pending lawsuit. Hopefully that helps. I have had to file too many of those.
Pace, can you just elaborate? What does that instrument ultimately do to a property?
It clouds title. It makes it so it is impossible for, for example, let me tell you, the first time I ever had to file Liz Pendens was actually on a deal Jamil and I were doing together years ago. I had a gentleman. I went to a seller's house. Her name is April, and it's public knowledge. I can tell you even the seller's name if I really wanted to. It is public knowledge. We had a settlement, everything. What happened is I send this deal out to Jamil, and Jamil finds a buyer, and we end up doing an assignment, and we're feeling good. Somebody comes and knocks on this lady's door and convinces her, hey, I'm going to give you $5,000 more than this Pace guy. Let me coach you along on how to cancel this contract with Pace. So we end up filing a memorandum, and then it was such a good deal. I was making like 25 grand. Jamil was making, I don't know, 10,000+ bucks, which was amazing. And I got advice from somebody. They said, go file a Liz Pendens. Do not count on a memorandum from stopping the new buyer from closing escrow with the seller. So I go, oh my gosh, what does a Liz Pendens cost? And I was super worried about it. The Liz Pendens cost a little bit of money. It ended up costing me about $400 to have Danielle, who also was a referral from Jamil, Danielle Graham, my attorney at the time, file a Liz Pendens up against the property. And then in a Liz Pendens, it absolutely guarantees that nobody can close escrow on that property. And so it saved the deal. The buyer got blocked out. We ended up closing escrow on that house. And I actually sued the seller for specific performance. And we ended up making about $50,000 more money than we originally planned on doing so. So a Liz Pendens is needed. And most of the time, if a seller is playing around, I don't even mess around with a memorandum. I go straight to a Liz Pendens.
And you got to file a lawsuit for a lis pendens to get filed. That's the thing.
Yeah,
So,
you have 100 days. Otherwise, you get fined, and if you also could get in trouble legally if you do not intend to file a lawsuit and you file a lis pendens.
Yep.
Marlena says, "Peace. What is your mentorship cost? Do you charge or exchange for deals?" Marlena, my mentorship is billions of dollars. Billions. Anybody that's a sub 2 student, please help Marlena out and let her know the value of the mentorship and what's behind the scenes. And if I can't help her out, if she can't get into the mentorship, that you, my sub 2 students, will be happy and gracious enough to help her out, please. Ooh, this one's good. So Jamil, what do you think about this one?
So is astro flipping your option a proportion decided? I'm sorry.
Is your astro flipping option portion decided by both parties, or is it you dictating essentially what you're going to charge?
Got it. So great question, Guy. It's deal dependent, right? It really depends on the deal. If it, a lot of times wholesalers will approach us and say, "Hey, I want 50,000 or 100,000 for this house," and they'll tell us what price they're looking for, and then we will go out and market above that. And then what we market above and are successful at selling above that number, we will keep, and that works just fine for us. The problem with that for you might be that we might make more money than you, and if you see that, that might piss you off. And so what we've done is we've given people the option. We've said, you can tell us your net number, or you can work with us in a more partnership level where we will tell you what we think we can sell it for, and you tell us what you're in contract for, and we'll try to swing for the fences and split it down the middle. I'll give you an example. We did a deal for William Baker out in Kingman, Arizona, and he brought me the deal, and he said, "Hey, I want $60K for this deal." And I said, "Sure, let me put it out and I'll try to get you 60 grand. Well, they said, wait. What are you going to sell it for? I'm like, "Well, William, what do you want? Do you want 60K or do you want to know what I can sell this for? Because, if you want to know what I can sell this for, tell me what you're getting it for and we'll try to make this a real partnership." And he said, "It's my first time working with you, Jamil. Let's just open up the books. My contract price on this is 50,000. And I'm like, "Cool, I think I can sell it for 100. And we did. So we make a $50,000 clip and we split that down the middle. We give 25 to William and we took 25. But if we had gone the other way, William would have gotten 10 with his net number. So how that works is give us a call or reach out to us if you've got a deal. We'll work through the deal with you. We'll look at the numbers and we will try to maximize everybody's potential. Listen, the facts is that you could wholesale that deal and make 10 grand on your own, or you could bring it to us and make 25. What would you rather do?
I've never once cared about how much Jamil and their team has made. I have never once cared about how much money Brent. Actually, I do care. Here's how I care. When you guys tell me how much you made, and there was a deal that you did with me not too long ago, Brent, where you guys are making 7 grand on a piece of land you're dispoing for me.
Yep.
And I told Jeremy, I go, "That's all? That's all you're making?" Like, bro, man, we got to make you more money on our deals. So guys, remember, these are long-term relationships. Jamil and Jamil has been helping me and my team for years. We will continue to work together, build our families together, build our empire together. Questioning how much people are making is not the way to build an empire. Just FYI. You want to make sure everybody's making money in a transaction.
Alan, absolutely. And there's a question earlier that I put on, but it kind of got phased out, was if it's 30 days until the auction, what's the closest to an auction date that you guys have done a deal?
Monday last week. Auction was Tuesday.
So what'd you do to get it stopped? Let's educate here.
Rochelle Jarvis, our transaction coordinator, she called the bank, found out who the trustee was. The trustee is who handles the foreclosure. And she called and showed our contract to the trustee and said, "We need 30 days to extend the auction because we need to fulfill our contract." The trustee verified who we were, that we were a good buyer, et cetera. So if you guys
who's by the way, I think I'm doing this badly. Alan Johnson asked, for anybody that wants to listen to this podcast, if a property is going to auction, can you get it under contract? So go ahead, Pay. So who is a trustee? I don't know what that means.
So what happens is a bank is not in the business of going out and getting the houses back. That's not what they want to do. They want to go out and continually lend money to good borrowers over and over and over. That's what they want to do. So what happens is when a borrower decides I can't pay this, or they lose their job and it's maybe not a decision of theirs, but they fall behind on their payments, the bank goes out and hires what is called it's a third party called a trustee. Essentially, think about it as the bank trusting somebody else to go out and get that house back so the bank can get their money back, okay?
Right.
So you have to go negotiate with that trustee and say, because the bank goes, look, we're not in the business for answering your call and negotiating with you and all that kind of stuff. We want to go out and do our business model, which is lending money. You are slowing us down. We're having to be a bill collector, and that's not what we want to do. So they hire a trustee, typically costs them between $3,000 and $5,000 to do so. And the trustee sets a date for that house to go on the auction. So Rochelle Jarvis, my transaction coordinator, we get a transaction. Actually, Jamil, it's the deal that you and I were talking about on Culver Street, I think it was. I can't remember.
Yep.
Coulter. It was Coulter. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It was on Coulter Street. We get the contract. We open escrow just to find out from the title company that this house is in foreclosure and it's getting foreclosed on in like 2 or 3 days. Okay. So Monday morning comes. Rochelle calls the trustee, shows them a copy of our contract, and then says, what do you need from us to extend this foreclosure at least 30 days? And so that's what we did. She was able to make 3 phone calls over the course of about 3 or 4 hours, and she extended the foreclosure 30 days to give us time to find or allow Jamil, actually, in this situation, to find a buyer and then allow us time in order to dispo it. So the answer is yes, you can contract houses that are going into foreclosure. It is one of the best, and it's not one of the best list. The number one best list you can ever call on, in my personal opinion, is the foreclosure list. And yes, those people are in default and you can get them under contract 100%.
How do you find the contact info for the trustees?
We typically call the, if you have MLS access, you can actually pull that up. But you also, if you don't have MLS access, you call the bank. Okay. So when you get the contract with the seller, we get a third party authorization to talk to the bank. And then the bank puts us directly in touch with the trustee.
Awesome.
That might be a good document for you to give away at some point, Brent, is a third party authorization if people don't have access to that.
Yeah. Oh, JVC. Come on.
Here we go. Yeah. Close my 7th deal today.
And JVC, we absolutely are doing deals with post possessions now. So if you have a deal with a post possession, the key about a post possession, guys, is make sure you've negotiated a holdback with the seller. If they are going to have a post possession, retain some of that, put it in writing. All right. Put it in writing that there's at least a minimum $5,000 holdback of seller proceeds so that you can guarantee the date they'll actually leave.
The last deal I did with Jamil was a post possession deal.
What is a post possession, Jamil?
A post possession is when a seller will stay in the house after possession.
What about a tenant?
A tenant is a tenant. A post possession is actually you're not going to get possession until a certain number of days post close.
So this is only owners.
Well, it could be tenants as well. You could have a post possession where a tenant was going to leave and the seller guaranteed the tenant would leave by a certain day. And so they're withholding a certain number of dollars in escrow to guarantee that tenant or they are going to leave. Now, the reason why you want to have post-possession, and I saw Cam Jones in the comments. What's going on, Cam? Cam does a lot of pre-foreclosure deals, and he does a lot of post-possessions. And those and he knows, and anyone else, and Pace, and Brent, anyone who's doing pre-foreclosures will tend to need a post-possession so they can get some cash out and then get out of their house. Well, they need that time. But if you don't have a post-possession there, what'll end up happening is they will stay. They will absolutely stay in the house until God knows when. So you want to have a post-possession with a certain number of days on it so that you can ensure that Brent is loving it, so that you can ensure that they're going to go. And the way that you do that is you incentivize them with their own money.
Jamil, what do you got here on this question?
Oh man, we are in so many. We are franchising frantically across the nation. So Sean, if any of you guys have a deal you want to send to us, I put my email on there, jamil@keegley.com. Send us an email, jamil@keegley.com. I'll put it back in the chat, jamil@keegley.com. And if we are in your market, we will help you. And if we're not, we'll let you know that we're not. And we will help you when we are in your market. But right now we are currently in, I think, 24 markets and growing.
Speaking of growing, check this out. We're at we're roughly just not too far underneath 400 live viewers today, guys. Thank you so much for your love, your support. More important than anything else is just helping each other out in the comments, because we get to about 75% of the comments. We see 100% of them, but it's the community of people who have been with us all 38 episodes that also help out in the comment section. So guys, thank you so much for the support, the love. Again, I want to make a comment. Next week, I am not streaming. I just looked at my personal YouTube channel. I have about 110 people on my personal YouTube channel, and then I've got another 100 or so between my YouTube or my Facebook groups. So those 200 people that are watching right now from those areas, guys, next week, we got to get everybody on one stream, because we're trying to get this community in one location so we can all work with each other, squad up with each other. So again, guys, 400 viewers right now, roughly, a little bit under.
And you'll share the link.
Yes, every week I'll share the link in my Facebook group, everybody. Guys, where is Wholesale Hotline going to go live going forward? Okay. Now, I just recently made this transition on Sunday service, and here's what happened. My live viewers went from about 500 live viewers down to about 230. Okay, and it's going to happen. We're going to lose some viewership. We're going to lose some community until people finally understand that that's where we're going to be. I could have done a better job at announcing it and letting everybody know. Guys, is everybody on the same page with us going live next week on Brent Daniels' YouTube channel? Is everybody aware of that? By the way, check this out. Casey Martin right here. Pace and I are going to share the love and send Jamil one of his deals. Casey Martin and I are actually that 8plex, Jamil, I was telling you about. That's coming from Casey Martin.
Beautiful.
A 0% seller finance 8plex, bro.
Awesome. And
pretty
Dane,
good one.
Your question, why do I never talk about astro flipping? Because astro flipping is just an extension of what we're doing at Keegley. Keegley is the company I founded with Josiah and Hunter and my sister. We are a dispositions company. We are nationwide. So when you hear me talking about astro flipping, the astro flipping is the blueprint on how we built Keegley.
And Jamil does talk about astro flipping a lot. The challenge with these shows is that you've got people that tune in when they can, right? Everybody's got kids and making dinner and all that kind of stuff. Jamil talked about astro flipping in the beginning of the show for about 20 minutes, maybe not that long, but 10 minutes. And it was a really, really good segment. So if you want to understand astro flipping a little bit more in depth, I would go back and watch this previous episode. Brent, where can people download this, watch this, share with their friends, all that kind of stuff?
Guys, if you are driving around, this is a phenomenal podcast. We are getting together this week. We're gonna chop this down so that it's very, very digestible podcast. It's a little bit different when you go from a video format to a podcast. So we're going to clean all that and make it really clean so that the podcast is something that you can, really engage with. You can obviously watch the replays on my YouTube channel, Brent Daniels Real Estate on YouTube, and, pick and choose. We're going to also be slicing and dicing some of those up so that you get like very, very specific question and answers so that those are easier to find as well. Also, what we're going to do is if you want to watch the full 90 minutes, we're going to put time stamps on where questions are being answered so that you can just skip around and be able to do that as well. So listen, guys, we threw this together. We love the community. We're getting better. We're kind of in this progress, not perfection type of thing, but we're going to get it better so that it is easier for you to find, especially if you can't watch for 90 straight minutes. I totally get it. We're going to chunk this down so it'll be it's going to be a lot easier for you to get the answers that you're looking for and the instruction that you're looking for when it comes to lead generation, conversion, and disposition.
I would like to answer this question, and I think it's going to be a little controversial. I had a job when I was younger. My dad was a contractor, so I worked my whole life. Okay. A 9-to-5 job doesn't just mean, a 9-to-5 job. I've had jobs. I've worked for other people a lot of my life. It wasn't until my early 20s that I realized who I was and my strong desire to go out and create something on my own, and that I had a personality that could build something that other people could rely on security because of the thing I created. Okay. I'm okay with a little bit lack of security if I can be aggressive on growth. That's my goal. I want to be aggressive on growth, and I want to create. I had a wife previously. Nobody really knows that not a lot of people know I'm divorcee. But when I was in my early 20s, very early 20s, I had a wife that was like, I want you to go get a job. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you. Now, I've never not been able to pay the bills. I've never not had nice things. I've always made good money because I'm an entrepreneur that works around the clock to make sure those things happen. And I had a wife that told me to go get a job and that my marriage was on the line because of that. If I didn't go get a job and I didn't go into the corporate world because she valued security over anything else. And I might go make 20 grand in 1 month and then no money the next month and then 30 grand the next month and then zero money the month after. And that was hard on her. And as a good husband, I went and got a job when I was 24 years old working at GoDaddy. And I went in there, I excelled, and I was there maybe 40 days. And I came home and I said, I have shown that I can do this. But if this is as important to you that I become a different person to make you happy, it's not going to make me happy the rest of my life. And this is not going to work out. And that was the last time I had a job. I just told myself, it's not who I am. It doesn't give me energy. It drains me. And so I have always and will always do the things that give me energy, even when it's a little bit risky. And in my opinion, this is my personal opinion. I think this is the part that people are going to maybe disagree with. I think a 9-to-5 is the riskiest thing of all time. I think of being an entrepreneur and a business owner is something I control. I had an uncle. I'm not going to say his name, but I have multiple uncles. So if he's listening, he doesn't, I don't call his name out. I had an uncle that criticized entrepreneurs his whole life. And he had a job at Flying J for 22 years. And then guess what? Flying J laid him and thousands of other people off. And he had to go back to college. His family couldn't pay the bills. Multiple people had to come in and help them out until he went out and got another, degree in order to get another job. Guys, a 9-to-5 job, in my personal opinion, is less safe than building your own business. It is less safe, less stable than being an entrepreneur, my personal opinion. What about you guys? Did you guys ever have 9-to-5 jobs?
You, Brent?
Never, ever, ever. I have been self-employed, which is interesting, right? As a real estate agent. You're self-employed, but really you've got a different boss every single week, every single day, somebody else that's kind of calling the shots on your schedule and what's going on. But I always had a problem with not being able to control the outcome of my schedule and my day and what was going on. I always had a problem with, kind of authority, I guess, in some sense. Kind of directing me to hit their goals. I don't know. And listen, that's just, I wasn't given money out of college or anything like that. I got a scholarship to go to college. I got out of college, got a real estate license in college, and then started going and going and going. So I've been going since 2004. And that's when I started this real estate journey. And I just, I don't think anybody on here, doesn't have that pilot light inside them that's like, I'm different. That's why I say we're crazy. We're crazy people. There are so many people in my family, in my circle of friends that I grew up with since we were kids that could never imagine not working a 9-to-5. Could never imagine. They sometimes think about it and putting together a business here and there or a hobby or something, but they could never imagine not having the security of a paycheck. And we're different. We're just different people. That's why I love this community. We're just, we're going to go out there and we're going to go and hunt, and we're going to go find opportunities, and we're going to find people that we can help out and provide value. And if we provide value, we get paid. Remember, our income is equal to the amount of value we provide to the marketplace, to the community. So if you want to make more income, provide more value. And you've got the blueprint. Find an ugly house, have a good quality conversation with the distressed property owner, match him up with somebody that wants to buy that house with cash, and you get paid for putting that all together. That's what wholesaling is. We don't have to overcomplicate this. And one deal can change your life. I remember the first time that I got a $42,000 check, I was literally shaking in my kitchen, just being like, oh my gosh, like my brain was on overload. And it was just a validation that you can do this and you can make a really unbelievable amount of money. Like you were mentioning in Pace before, you could get paid more than attorneys. You could get paid more than surgeons. You could get paid more than some CEOs. That's how incredible that this business is. But you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe and have the courage to go out there and trade that W-2 paycheck for a chance to be able to have a control of your life. And that's what we like to encourage you to do.
Jamil, what about you, bro? I know you sold websites. I know you sold $600 websites for $500.
So
yeah, that's what it was.
I was self-employed at that time, so that I still consider that entrepreneurship and being on the crazy life. Right before that, I did some G shit. So I worked at Taco Bell. I worked at a video store, all through university to pay for my for what I wanted to do, which was what my parents wanted me to do, which all Indian parents want their kids to be, is a doctor. And then when after writing the MCAT and being unsuccessful at becoming a doctor, and having a human being be able to block me from my hopes and dreams, I snapped. And I was like, no, I can't do this any longer. So I still needed money. And my last 9-to-5 job, I was a collection agent. And my job was having to call all of these poor people who parked across the street from a hospital, that got parking tickets from Imperial Parking, this company. And my job was to call them all and threaten to screw them up and have their cars towed. And every time that they'd have to go back to the hospital to visit their family member, they'd have to worry about, even if they paid for parking that day, they'd have to worry about their car getting towed. Because a lot of people who visit hospitals don't just visit a hospital for a week. They visit that hospital for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, because their family member's sick.
Yeah.
And so my job was to basically call it and threaten them and tell them that we're going to hunt you down at that parking lot that you're going to visit your sick kid in, and we're going to tow your car. And one day you're going to come outside and your car's not going to be there. So just pay us the now $800 you owe, because this $150 parking ticket now with fines and fees is now $800. And I couldn't do it. It like ate me up inside for that to be my job. And so one day, the day I snapped, I was on the phone with a lady, and I knew people were listening in on the calls all the time. They had a whole room of people listening to us on the phone. And if you weren't aggressive enough, and if you didn't use enough threats, and if you weren't really, really trying to get their money, you would be reprimanded. You would be told, right? And they called them, they wanted to coach you. They wanted to coach you and teach you how to be more of a dick. And so I'm on the phone with this lady, and I just told her, I was like, listen, you don't have to pay this bill. There's nothing they can do. And they're not even going to tow you from that lot. They can't. They legally can't do anything to you. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete your ticket. I'm going to delete your ticket right now. You don't pay anything. I'm deleting. And as I'm doing this, the boss comes into the pen, and he's like, Jamil. So I just get up and I said, you know what? I quit. I leave. And I walked out. I threw the headset at the boss, swore at him on my way out the door because I felt like he was such a piece of poo. And that was my last job.
Wow. How old are you?
20.
Guys, it's amazing to me how simple this business really is. Mm-hmm. When I came home today, this is my home office. I started filming. We all did, right? Remember, we started Wholesale Hotline in person, and then like 4 weeks after, COVID hit. So we all started filming at our home office. And I know TTP is actually at his TTP office right now. I recognize the background. But I come home today, and there's a letter from a courier underneath my front doorstep. And there's a check there for $72,000. Okay. Now, this is going to sound very braggadocious, but there's a check there for $72,000. I put it on the countertop and I move on with my day. Did not get me excited in the least. I want you guys to know that is a very common type of check you can make in this business. I see TTPers posting checks like that all the freaking time.
I'm telling you, Friday Pace, I had some incredible TTP family members in. I got a check, $51,000. I folded, I put it in my back pocket, right? I go home, I change to go to the cabin, totally forget that it's in the back pocket. I'm driving and go, oh, honey, make sure I don't do the laundry before I get that out of my back pocket, okay? I don't want to ask for another one. You know what I mean? Like, this happens, guys, but I'm telling you, this doesn't, you got to put in the work. You got to be patient with it. You got to build this thing up. You got to be out there providing as much value as possible. It's real life. And you can do it. You absolutely can do it. You can. If you talk to enough people, if you have enough quality conversations with people, you win. You win every time. It's flawless. It's undefeated. You can't lose. So just focus on, keep it simple. Go out there and share yourself. Have that confidence. Go out and meet and network with people that are doing more than you. Go out and be proactive. Go out there and find those opportunities. Don't wait for them. Don't buy them. Go out and earn them.
Jamil, where are we gonna stream this next week?
What do you mean?
Next week, are we going to be on Facebook? Are we going to be on Pace's YouTube? Where are we going to be streaming?
Next week, the only place you're going to find us is in Brent Daniels' YouTube channel. So if you guys want to watch Wholesale Hotline next week and you come to Facebook, guess what's going to happen? It won't be there. You are going to have to go to Brent Daniels' YouTube page. It is a fantastic YouTube page, so you'll enjoy it. And the reason for it, guys, if you didn't hear what Pace was saying, the comments and what you guys do here is amazing. And we are seeing such value being generated for you guys in the comments that we're willing to lose some viewership to keep all of the community in one place. And so when you guys can all find each other in the same place, because right now we've got just under 400 people watching, and half of them are on Brent's YouTube page, half of them are on Pace's Facebook groups, some of them are on my pages, whatever. The facts are is that these are coming in, and all these comments are coming in on different streams, and we don't know who you are, and you guys can't squat up with each other. So next week we'll be at Brent Daniels' YouTube page, same time, different place, same guys, better content. Brent's muscles will be bigger. Pace's hair will be bigger.
Yep.
And my beer will be scruffier.
And Jamil's YouTube channel will have 3 more videos on it. I already selected the Q&A or the things that we're going to go over. Guys, thank you so much for giving us good questions for Jamil's YouTube. I think those 3 videos we selected are going to be amazing. And going forward, I'm going to start pulling 1 or 2 videos out a week to have Jamil answer on his YouTube. Also, if it's a Brent answer, I'm going to push it over to Brent because Jamil's got a very specific superpower that I think he wants to focus his time and energy on. So thank you guys so much. We love you. We appreciate you. This community is something that gives us all 3 energy. We talk about it all the time. It is not work for us. This provides energy to both all 3 of us and our families. We thank you guys so much.
Final thoughts, Jamil?
I love you guys. I love every single one of you. Thank you all for your viewership. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the questions, all the love. There is absolutely nothing greater in life than watching a community grow and being a part of it. And you guys really, really make all of our lives better. So thank you all for your participation, your continued support. Wholesale Hotline 38, we out.
Later, guys.